Can I ask your perspective then, guys? So what are you seeing, maybe Rochelle, from a client's perspective? Are you seeing greater interest and demand for other alternative types of programmatic inventory? Are clients really pushing for this? Is this something that's key on your agenda?
No, definitely. While a lot of money is being spent on digital, that doesn't mean that alternative types of media are not being used at all. In fact, if we look at APAC in general, there's been about, estimated in 2019, 10 billion spent in out-of-home, which makes up about 20%. It's 20 billion spent, makes up about 10% of the total advertising predictions for 2019. And in APAC, that's very significant because if we look at that in comparison to global projections, that is 56% of the global out-of-home predictions for 2019. And that trend is something that we're seeing a lot moving forward. If you look at the key media players as well, in Singapore itself, Clear Channel has launched Play Plus, which is a programmatic buying platform for out-of-home, which is very goal-based. So a lot of us are moving towards automation, towards usage of data in out-of-home. Yeah. Malaysia, in fact, recently in late 2018, if I'm not mistaken, launched with Maybank another programmatic out-of-home campaign for their golfing tournament, where they were actually able to take real-life, physical, and online data and then be able to make decisions on where to buy and what content to actually put there. And if we even look at the biggest out-of-home player globally, the JCD, they've launched BU late 2018, and if you look at the markets that they're going to launch Tier 2 in, Australia and Singapore are actually the key markets that are going to be in play as early as Q2 of 2019. So not only are we seeing a demand from a client perspective, the publisher side and the sell side is actually making supply available as well. So even for us as marketers or as agencies, it's very important to ensure we're not only in line with the space, but we're also ramping up the skill set of our teams to be able to
correct. Which was going to be my next question actually. Then how are we building this into the planning processes? You know, the agencies geared up for it. Are clients really starting to think about this in a neutral way across different platforms? So you're seeing that? Yeah.
Actually, what has been interesting is that it's not about agencies gearing up, it's agencies partnering with the suppliers to actually make this happen. Because programmatically, agencies have moved to a space where we know how we are planning for our clients. So being part of that planning process and even the launch partners with these publishers is what making it very convenient for us to upskill our teams and also ensure that when it's being launched in the market, the product is being launched in a way that it can be utilized.
Jonathan, how about a client perspective on this? Is this something that's front and center for you and your planning for 2019?
Yes. I think like what Rochelle has said, like we've been asking our agencies and our ad networks for these sort of innovations, but we still haven't. I'm still getting the same old vanilla sort of proposals coming back to me. I'm still buying the same out-of-home sites and MRT stations. So no innovations along that space, I feel, that has been made apparent to our team. We have the money, we want to spend it correctly, but I'm still not seeing an ROI from, out of home. So I keep looking out for opportunities to, merge the offline with the online. I try to create campaigns to do that, but we've not been very successful.
Is your agency in the room?
I'm not sure.
It's an opportunity.
Anyone from Denson Network?
Sorry, didn't mean to call you guys out.
No, but they did great. I mean,
sorry.
I mean, in all fairness to agencies in the room, digital out-of-home is definitely, from a programmatic perspective, something that's being developed pretty much as we speak. So while JCD has launched in the US and UK, for us here in APAC, what's going to be very important is actually taking examples or seeing what's been done and then seeing how we can actually add up some of them to APAC to start off with. The key thing is going to be data integration, because we, in the APAC, at least need to know market by market what are the data sources that we're actually going to be able to use and also from a client perspective, what data they are willing to integrate. In fact, one of our clients, McDonald's, has always been a pioneer when it comes to allowing us to actually experiment and move forward in that direction. So in UK, end of 2018, there was a very innovative digital out-of-home campaign where McDonald's actually worked with getting the Met online data and weather data as well, to be able to truly build content based on weather data, based on stock exchange data, and then integrate that into their website delivery system where all of their main menu icons were turned into weather icons for like a 5-day forecast or a 7-day forecast. So I think that's where, like Jonathan said, we're all going to have to be very aware to keep asking for more. And from an agency side, we're definitely going to start feeling the pressure to step up our game.
Yeah, and also, and actually this touches on a conversation we were just having just before this panel, the role of creative in this, especially if we're talking about digital out of home, these non-standard formats. Are the creative agencies geared up for this? I haven't seen a whole heap of evidence for that so far. Jonathan, do you have a perspective?
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't want to put my agency in the spot. I mean, but
I think
everyone's
everyone's struggling.
like, it's true. I mean, the inventory is just not there yet. So, I mean, these are all like predictions and trends that we see it's coming. We talk to JCD as well too. They tell us that it's coming, but I've heard this like 2 years ago. So,
right.
no movement there on that front. So hopefully this year.
Janet, I'd love your perspective as well, because I know that this is on your list of predictions too, talking about new types of channels. What's your prediction for this year?
So channels is one of those words we all throw around a lot of lexicon. Channels mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. When I refer to channels, I'm talking more about the fact that supply and tech has become so much more transparent, that more data is available. So actually, we're seeing these buy-side trends for what we refer to as SPO. And if that SPO is leaning towards outdoor, because of the data that they know, and they know that that's going to...
That's supply path optimization.
Supply path optimization, I guess that's for you. But in terms of digital, I really wanted to delve into channels as around, we're seeing this growth in marketplaces. I just want to make sure that we close where we pivoted there around outdoor.
And we can come back to your perspective then on the channels.
Yeah, I think later. I mean, one thing to be fair to agencies is they're waiting for the tech to catch up. And what happens and what we see is that tech doesn't want to launch something and then flop. We don't want to present this amazing idea without it being ready, because then we'll burn ourselves, and we don't want to do that, especially if you're dealing with the new tech or the tech that's trying to innovate in outdoor space. What would be worse? Waiting a little while to make sure that your innovation that you're very hungry for comes and it's complete and it's ready, or do you want something that's going to flop?
That is an excellent point, actually. And do you know what? I cannot think of any examples of tech companies, ad tech companies, partnering up with creative agencies, for instance, on different type of innovative formats. Has anyone in the room seen anything like that? No? Okay, there's another opportunity. Prediction for 2019, ad tech and creative working together, hopefully.